Hello and welcome to another edition of Conspirator Brock's Pull List. This is my pull list for the week of June 14th, 2017. Ginormous week this week, so let's get right into it. First up, we have Action Comics number 981. This continues the Revenge story arc. Dan Jurgens has done an amazing job on Action, and I look forward to reading it every week. Next up, we have American Gods number 4. Neil Gaiman's comic book adaptation of American Gods, his novel. I have not yet checked out the TV show. I want to. I have read the book. I really enjoyed the book. I did pick up the 10th anniversary copy of it, and I need to actually read it. But I do love the American Gods novel, so and so far the comic's been pretty good. Next up, we have Bane Conquest number 2 of 12. This is the Christopher Nolan Bane story that's coming out right now. The first issue was okay, so I'm curious to see how it unfolds, but we shall see. Next up is a big book this week for DC, especially for those of you who are curious about what's going on with DC going into later on this year, with some of the titles that are coming out. Dark Days, The Forge, number 1 by Scott Snyder and Tyrion IV. Definitely something you need to pick up. I'm really excited for it. Flipped through it a little bit, saw a panel with the Outsiders, so I'm really curious to see what that entails, since I'm an Outsiders fan. But we shall see. Dark Days, The Forge will lead. It has another one-shot coming out, I believe next month, and then that will lead into the DC Metal stuff that's coming out. So if you're curious to see what's going on going forward with some of the DC stuff, definitely pick up Dark Days, The Forge. And you might want to really consider picking it up, because I don't know if stores really ordered as much as they should have of this, because I think this is going to be a really good series. Next up, we have Detective Comics number 958. This starts Intelligence Part 1. Again, Tyrion IV. I'm butchering his name, but that's okay. Done an amazing job on Detective. So every week, or every month, I look forward to getting to 2 issues of Detective. So yeah. Next up, we have The Flash number 24. This continues the Color of Fear story arc. Again, most of my titles I'm a little bit behind on, due to the wonders that is being busy. So yeah. Next up, we have Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. This is part 1 of Fracture. This book has been really good. Vendetti has really found his voice with Green Lantern, especially with Hal Jordan. He had a rough start after John's, but I think he's really picked it up. It's not as good as the John stuff, but really still a solid Green Lantern title. Next up, we have Justice League number 8, The Man from Monster Valley. Apparently, there's a new character, Maxon. Who knows? We shall see. Yeah. Next up, the Looney Tunes books are coming out. That's the DC Looney Tunes crossover books, and the first one is A Legion of Superheroes Bugs Bunny crossover. I'm curious to see how that one, I'm just curious. I'm really curious. The next one is Martian Manhunter and Marvin the Martian. Definitely a good team up there, written by Steve Orlando, so it's hopefully going to be a really solid, funny title. Next up is Manifest Destiny number 29. I can't recommend this book high enough. It's just really good, well written, drawn. The art's amazing on it. Yeah, basically, Lewis and Clark coming across the United States, discovering America, and in the process they're discovering fantasy creatures and all of this crazy shit. Definitely something I highly recommend you check out. The first trade is available. Numerous trades are available, but trade 1 is called Flora and Fauna. If you're interested, I do recommend picking that up. Next up is Raw Array, The History of the Valiant Universe. I'm a Valiant sucker, so I picked it up. Who knows if I'm actually going to read it? It might be one of those. Ooh, look, here's information on one page, information on another page. I haven't even opened it up. We'll see. Next up is Red Hood and the Outlaws number 11. Continues the Who is Artemis story arc. Red Hood and the Outlaws has come out at a weird pace for me. It's okay, but I think that month to month it's really difficult to kind of stay engaged in the title, even though after I read it, I'm like, oh, that was good. So we'll see if it continues to be on my pull list going forward. But it's good, so we'll, there's that. Next up is Meredith Finch's Rose #3 from Image. The first 2 issues were good, so I'm looking forward to issue 3 and seeing where this story takes us. Next up is Scooby Apocalypse #14. Just overall a fun book. Great stuff with kind of a post-apocalyptic world and the Scooby-Doo gang. So, yeah, I've not yet checked it out. First trade's available. I highly recommend you give it a shot. Next up is Suicide Squad #19, Earthlings on Fire. Suicide Squad's been really good, drawn really well since Tony Daniel took over. Artwork, but no, he just does covers. This is Williams and Edwards, apparently. Yeah, I have no idea. We'll see. I've liked it. After Romita Jr., it's been great, so let's hope it keeps up with that consistency. Next up is Superwoman #11, Rediscovery. Superwoman's been an okay title, but again, I think with the release schedule, much like Red Hood and the Outlaws, I kind of go, do I really care? And then I read it and it's okay. Does it need to still be around this one? Probably not. So maybe it's close to being on the chopping block, but who knows. I enjoy it so far, but again, I think that's one of the titles that's on the bottom of my pull list and could be cut. So, next up we have Titans Bad Omen #12, coming out of the Lazarus contract stuff. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with the Titans books. I have not finished Lazarus contract. I'm, again, behind in a lot of my reading due to being busy and whatnot. So I'm curious to see how Titans holds up after that crossover event. We'll see if it stays on the pull list or if it gets cut. Next up is Wonder Woman Godwatch #24. Greg Rucka's almost done with his run on Wonder Woman, which is very sad. Hopefully the replacement creative teams can bring almost the same quality and just good storytelling to Wonder Woman. But yeah, we shall see. So that's it for my pull list this week. It's a decent amount of titles. Yeah, a lot of books. I'm so far behind, it's ridiculous. I did pick up a couple variants this week. First up was Action Comics #981. I got the Gary Frank variant right there. Good stuff. Of course, Detective Comics 958 had the variant cover there. Azrael. Flash #24 had its variant cover. Justice League of America #8. I think I just got it because they're sitting on the snout of what looks like a dinosaur. So, Suicide Squad was Will Pacello. I'm not a big fan of his art right now, but Suicide Squad, so I'm a sucker for the extra variant. And of course, the ever awesome Wonder Woman variants that are coming out right now. Totally good stuff. It's summertime now, so I don't have the day job currently, so money becomes a little tighter during the summer. I work more at the comic book store, Comic Conspiracy, as well as over at another comic store in the local area called Elusive Comics. But my pull list will probably get cut a little bit due to me needing to have funds to pay for other things. So if you start seeing sparser and sparser pull lists, that's because it's summertime. But hopefully down the road it can get back to some semblance of normal. Next up is my read list. These again are the titles that I bring home to read to stay current and caught up on, comics, because getting all comics is just way too expensive. First up is Defenders #1 by, who's this by? Bendis. Yep, just looks like Mighty Avengers to me. I'll give it a shot. Who knows? It might be good. Next up is Generation X #3. I have not yet read 2, but I'll get to that in a minute. But first issue was okay, and the X books have been overall good. So I'm going to give Generation X at least a shot for a couple more issues. Next up is a new #1 from Image, and it's Kill the Minotaur. I have no idea what this is about, so I'm going to give it a read and see if it's any good. Next up is Old Man Logan, number 25. Lemire is off of Old Man Logan, so I'm curious to see how well it stands up with the new creative team after Lemire. Fingers crossed it's good, because I've been really enjoying Old Man Logan as a character, but we shall see if the same quality is brought with this new creative team. Next up is the big book from Marvel, and that's Secret Empire number 4. First, the 0 issue and the 1 were really good. 2 and 3 have kind of fallen off a little bit for me. They weren't as good as 0 and 1. So we'll see if 4 can kind of bring some redemption back, or if it just falls into the 2, 3 okay category. But who knows. Next up, we have Star Wars number 32. This is part 4 of 5 of the Screaming Citadel story arc. Star Wars has just been solid overall. The new Darth Vader book I got a chance to read last week, and is good stuff. Soul seems to have a grasp of Star Wars and who the characters are, so it doesn't sound too forced or not like a Star Wars book. Next up is Thanos number 8. Again, Jeff Lemire's Thanos is really good. I really enjoy reading it, so it's sad to see that Lemire's going, but I'm going to at least finish out the Thanos that he's given us. Next up is Weapon X number 4. This starts the Weapons of Mutant Destruction epilogue, right? No, sorry, prelude. I'm so tired. Weapon X has been really good so far. I really enjoy it. We don't order as many copies as I think we should, but I don't know if people really have an interest in it, but they should, because it's not that bad. Next up is a new number 1 from Image, and that's Winnebago Graveyard. Winnebago. No idea what it's about. Gonna check it out, see if I like it. We'll see. Next up is X-Men Blue number 5. X-Men Blue is probably the weakest so far of the X titles, not counting like the solo titles like Jean Grey and Iceman and Cable. But of the team books, it's so far the weakest for me. We'll see. This is kind of I think the make or break for me is issue 5. So that's it for my read list. I did grab some titles from prior weeks that I have not yet had a chance to read. Generation X number 2, in fact, is on there. So I got 2 Generation X's to read. Hulk number 6 is on there, because the new Hulk, the She-Hulk book has been pretty good. Infamous Iron Man number 8 is on there, which came out about a week or so ago. Jean Grey number 2. The first issue was interesting enough, so I'm going to try out issue 2. Jessica Jones number 9. Brian Michael Bendis has done an amazing job on this book. I really enjoy it. Makes me want to go read Alias. And of course, Moon Knight number 14 by Jeff Lemire. So a lot of books I need to get read and get caught up on. Yeah, so let's add to it. Last week we got shorted our entire order of this trade, and I've been really enjoying the series as a whole, and that's The Wicked and the Divine, Volume 5. Imperial Phase Part 1 is the title of the trade. Wicked and Divine's just been really cool, really good book, so I'm glad we finally got our copies in. And that's it for this week's pull list. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Leave comments down in the comments window below. I try to get those if I can. You can ask me questions, give me leave comments, all that stuff. I like it to be a positive place, so try and keep it as positive as possible. I do try to respond in a timely fashion if you do pop me a question there. So yeah, we did record this week. Comics Conspiracy, I believe, episode 313. I was not able to record since we recorded Monday night. We had to swap recording days with the Geekbox due to E3. So Geekbox recorded Tuesday night, and we recorded Monday night. But Monday night I had to go pick up my kids from visitation, so I was not able to record this week. But Ryan Higgins, Bryce Larsen are on there. You can check it out. There'll be a link in the description below. You can help me and my fellow conspirators out at www.patreon.com/comicsconspiracy for as little as $1 a month. You help us with hosting, getting food, getting some products. We do appreciate all our Patreon backers. Thank you so much for your support. I know you guys have pledged enough every month that we now have to do random picks on the Comics Conspiracy podcast, so you got that going. You also have access to exclusives as a Patreon backer, and those are the Bryce Brieflies, and also Charlie and Toby, my fellow conspirators, do a roundup podcast where they talk about general TV, not superhero related. So if you want access to that, you have to be a Patreon backer. Good stuff. What else is there? You can follow me on Twitter. My handle is @BrockSager. It's summertime, so I'm hopefully going to be able to clean up this a little bit around here, purge a bit. And yes, when I purge, you guys can reap those benefits sometimes. So we do sell a lot of my stuff on eBay. There'll be a link in the description below to my eBay store. So if there's something that catches your eye, go ahead and bid on it. See if you win. But that money goes directly to help me out, and it gets rid of stuff. So yay for me. And you get something. So yay for you. Am I done? Do I have anything else to say? It's just been a really long day. Books were shipped up to Hayward, Oakland. So I had to drive up there today and pick up the books and then come back and process and get them all out and then go drop stuff off at Elusive. It was just a busy day for me. So if I apologize if I yawned a little too much in this episode. And for the extent, lengthiness of this episode, because, yeah, I'm a little tired and feel a little spacey, but, yeah. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next week.